family physician.
I never suspected Ed of cheating on me.
I knew her as the nurse. I was starved for attention, starved for physical pleasure. I was just desperately lonely at home and very frustrated. The other woman was a nurse, a work friend. We started confiding things in each other, and the flirtation became more explicit. It was supposed to be just a quick, one-time, this is crazy, but there was some chemistry between us that we didn't expect. I came home looking for a fight with my wife, looking for an excuse to tell her.
Look what you've done! You're the one who started this 9 months ago!
We had a huge fight. I said, "Are you having an affair?"
I paused and I said, yes.
And I was devastated. I was floored. Ed told me that he loved me, but he wasn't in love with me.
I thought that when I told my wife about the affair, she would want a divorce. Well, Candy's reaction surprised me, that she wanted to use this terrible occurrence as a wake-up call to us as a couple.
It was devastating because I knew he loved me. I actually went and filed for divorce, but I chickened out. I just couldn't do it.
My wife went through a lot of turmoil because I continued to call this woman and see her.
I mean, you call her several times a day, stop and see her behind my back. Lord knows if you're seeing her in the ER. You know, who knows if you're going to sleep with her, or, you know, let's do a quickie here and there.
I just kept telling her over and over again, I feel like I've fallen out of love with you. I'm in love with this other woman. She makes me feel so much better. So what are we fighting for?
You treat me like What goes through your mind? Nothing? Obviously.
There was a crisis, a big crisis, not just with my wife, but now with the other woman. I got a phone call. The other woman was on the other line, and I knew that there was something wrong because she never calls me at work. And she told me, well, I'm pregnant. All I could say was, oh my God, for about 5 minutes. And so I called my wife.
I said, "What?" He said, "She's pregnant." And the phone literally dropped out of my hand.
It was horrible. I had just sunk another dagger into my poor wife who had been through so much already.
He calls me back. He says, "Get a grip on yourself. You are my wife. I am not going to leave you."
I had completely lost all direction in my life. I didn't know what to do anymore.
She's pregnant. She chose to have an affair with a married man.
But she's sick and she's carrying my child, and I feel responsible.
Right home like I give a shit.
The situation has gotten far beyond my control. I feel like I need to be at home and then eventually miss the other woman and leave again.
I think Ed's scenario is that he can come here and have me as his wife and then go and have his, other needs met by her.
I need to just commit one way or the other, and I always wind up torn.
I'm running out of reserve. I'm at the end of my rope. If we can't fix this now, I'm out of here. I have got to move on with my life.
You want both of us. So what do you want to do with both of us?
I love you as my wife, but I still care about her, and it's hard for me to accept losing her.
Ed has told me flat out, "Why can't I have both of you? I want both of you." And I just look at him like, are you out of your mind?
I fell into a pattern where I would leave the home, be with the other woman, feel like I needed to go back home.
So he would come back home, start the cycle all over again, back and forth and back and forth. Ed is very confused.
I just try to leave the door open as long as I can for both things.
Ed gives me mixed signals every time he comes home. He says he's gonna work on the marriage, he's here, but yet he's still seeing her and talking to her. I just don't trust him.
I have just strung her along so far because she just let me do it. I took advantage of her goodness to prolong the relationship with the other woman as long as I possibly could.
If you're not going to move back home, don't move back home, but don't come over here for dinners and just spend the night like a slumber party.
I was torn. I needed to be with my children. I needed to be at home with my wife. And then I'd eventually miss the other woman.
He would tell me what I wanted to hear. On the other hand, he would tell her what she wanted to hear.
Stop going back and forth. You're making me ill. Literally.
All right, so talk to me. I was asking you how you feel about this, and your response was, I want him to tell me what's going to happen with the rest of my life. Does it sound odd when you hear that said back to you?
Yes. No, I know what I want. I want my marriage to work. I want him home with the family, but I'm not going to accept this other woman in my life. I have told him I would accept the other child because it is part of his. But I will not accept this other woman in my life. I'm ready to move on.
How do you feel about this?
I'm devastated.
Well, what does that mean? I mean, you don't act that way. You let him come, you let him go. He's been in and out of the house 4 times since April, right? You've moved in and out 4 times since April. I'm leaving, I'm back. I'm leaving, I'm back. I'm leaving, I'm back. I'm leaving, I'm back. Okay, and you change from day to day, right?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, I mean, literally, sometimes flip-flop day to day. Sometimes you'll have days where it's both. You just don't have a feeling one way or the other. And
I'm confused too.
well, how about you? How about you bailing out on you? I mean, that's what I'm hearing at this point. It's like, you're just like, well, yes, it's devastating. He's seeing another woman. He had sex with her 2 weeks ago.
I know that.
Okay, you understand that? That's correct, right?
Yes.
He's been living back at the house how long?
6 weeks.
So he's been back this time 6 weeks. 2 weeks ago that we know about, could have been yesterday, I don't know, but 2 weeks ago that he acknowledges, he went off somewhere and had sex with his pregnant mistress and came home and got in bed with you.
Yep. He hid it from me the whole entire time.
It's not hidden now. What I'm asking you to do is you've got to own your side of this. And I think you're doing that in all the wrong ways. Your first reaction to this was that at least in part, and actually quite a bit of part, you blamed yourself for this.
I did.
You blamed yourself for his choice.
I blame myself because I let myself go. I gained a lot of weight, and I wasn't.
You had 3 of his babies.
I know.
You had 3 of his babies. In your defense, you've had 3 of his babies in 12 years. And you say you let yourself go? Well, so get on the treadmill, but that doesn't mean he gets to go out and run around with nurses at the hospital.
Exactly.
You have said that you don't believe that you and your wife are intellectually compatible.
Well,
Tell me what that means.
Well, at the time, the context of that was when we first got married. I didn't feel like we were on the same page. Basically because I'm in healthcare and she's not, and so we weren't.
Are you saying you think you're smarter than she is? I'm just asking. I don't know. Is that what you
I
mean?
did at the time, yes. I thought that at the time.
Well, you said this week. You said, my wife and I are not intellectually compatible.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so are you saying that she's not smart enough to be married to you?
I think that was the spirit of the comment, but I know that that's not true.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I know he has a degree, but I don't think he's smarter than I am, obviously.
Do you think that there is a point here that, see, I'm a strong believer that in this old world, you get what you ask for. You get what you ask for. If you demand that people treat you with dignity and respect, you're going to come a lot closer to getting treated with dignity and respect than if you don't demand that, okay? And I'm getting the feeling here that you wouldn't yell fire if you were on fire. I mean, it's just like, well, you know, I kind of wish he would decide to keep me. I mean, is that how you're feeling? Remember, we're being totally honest.
I know.
If that's how you're feeling and you're just playing the game with sweaty palms and you're scared to death, whatever it is, just tell me. I can help you with whatever you tell me, and I can't help you with whatever you don't. You are confused. You are lost, you are confused, and you want to get out of that. I think you really do. And let me ask you something. This doesn't affect what you do with the child now that it's here, but your mistress is a nurse. You're a physician.
I know where you're going with this, yeah.
That just doesn't seem like a very high likelihood of a whoops. I mean, how did that happen? I mean, I know nothing's 100%, but it just seems like stranger than fiction that you two would be the ones that got burned.
Well, you have to understand that at the time, my thinking was I'm on a one-way course out of this marriage, and it doesn't matter what happens.
Are you telling me that you were having unprotected, uncontrolled?
Yes.
So it was okay with you if she got pregnant?
I really didn't want her to get pregnant, but on the other hand, I was kind of like, well, so be it. I was on my way out of the marriage. I really was I had pretty much packed my bags mentally that I was on my way out of this relationship. I felt like everything I've done to my wife, my behavior, everything was consistent with one thing, which is leaving the marriage. That's how I justified it.
Why couldn't he leave the marriage before he started the affair?
I'll let you answer that one.
Well, because I didn't think the affair was going to take on a life of its own. We met and we were friends for a couple of years before we started this, and we just thought it was going to be kind of like a fling, that we weren't going to continue with it. At the time, I was extremely frustrated. I was, not knowing what to do, and I made a conscious decision to have this affair. I know I did it. I remember the day I decided to do it, and I went ahead and did it because I felt like I had nowhere else to turn. But later, the affair just grew and grew, and now here we are. But initially, that wasn't the intent. The intent was just kind of like take a sip of water and then go back to the marriage.
Well, now, you say that it was just a fling and you just thought it would be a sip of water, but yet you weren't guarding against getting her pregnant.
Oh, at that time we were. At that time we were.
By that time, the sip of water theory was gone, and now it was more
now
of a relationship.
We were chugging on it, yeah.
If you have problems within a relationship, then you fix them within the relationship. You never fix a problem in a relationship by turning to someone outside the relationship. That won't fix anything. It won't fix what ails you. It won't fix what ails the couple. All it does is create problems. And it's created problems here. Whether you like it or whether you don't, you are married to this woman. Whether you like it or whether you don't, you are the father of those 3 children. And whether you like it or whether you don't, you need to finish this one before you get involved in another one. Okay? You have to do that or it'll never work anyway. Yeah. It'll never work anyway. So what has to happen here is we have to deal with this relationship. You said that you would never be able to work on this relationship as long as that woman was in your life.
That's correct.
So she's got to get out of your life. She's got to get out of your life. Whatever happens, you have to be willing to say, all right, you know what? I am going to put 100% of myself into this relationship. If it's nothing more than to dismantle it properly and create a relationship as co-parents of these children, or if it's to try to rebuild a basis for staying together as a couple, whatever it is, you owe nothing less to your marriage and family than doing what it takes to get this situation resolved before you go off and play house with somebody else. I don't want you to tell me what I want to hear. I don't want you to say, okay, I'll never see her again. You can't say that right now.
No, I can't.
You could say it, but you couldn't mean it. You couldn't know that you could deliver on that.
Not yet.
So we have to work on it. We have to deal with that in some way. But you have to be honest about it. And if you're willing to work on this, then we can make the best of a bad situation. But you're not going to do it by just turning your back on each other. We'll be right back.
That's his problem. He hasn't been honest with
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.